health insurance nothing but young healthy people paying for sick and old people. The insurer is in shock because they didn't come to know about the information. They will just not pay the claim. A bigger shock is for the family because the family will actually be depending on the claim so that they can pay a hospital bill.
The whole point of health insurance is to cover that disease, but health insurance company are finicky.
When a person has a major disease, like someone who has gone through a paralysis attack, someone who has basically has a cancer survivor, they may not even get a policy.
How will the insurer find out that I have that particular PD 10 years ago? Like, if I do not remember, after 14 years pehle what I had, how will the insurer find out?
The insurance company can only reject a claim where they can. You will be the reason why the claim will get rejected because you did not inform and you were lazy when you were buying the proposal form. Are you taking any medicine? Yeah, I take a medicine for sugar, I take a medicine for hypertension, and I also take that pump for asthma. So that's a very common thing, right? I am very, very healthy. I'm just taking these three medicines.
Wait, you watch, you learn, but you don't subscribe. Why? 85% of you are guilty. Fix it now. Hit that subscribe button.
Hello, welcome to Insurance Unfiltered Season 2. So in today's episode, we'll talk about a person with PED, pre-existing disease. If they want to buy health insurance, what all things they should keep in mind while purchasing the policy. We have Mahavir with us, and let's dig deeper and let's try to understand from Mahavir, any person who has PED, how he or she can purchase the health insurance policy the right way. Hello Mahavir.
Yeah, hi.
So before starting the podcast, like the Beshak research team gave me the content to ask from you, but ये थोड़ा ना theoretical हो रहा है. So as I represent the customer's voice, I'll straight away stick to questions which are coming to my mind. For a person who has a PD, I'll just keep it here. So Mahavir, I'm wearing the hat of the customer, right? And this question like बहुत layman question है, but बहुत irritating question भी होता है कि I have a disease and to cover that particular disease I want to buy health insurance, but health insurance कह रहा है कि नहीं मिलेगा, you will not get the insurance, or there are some problems, or the premium will be high. The whole point of health insurance is to cover that disease, but health insurance company are finicky with people who have health conditions. Why so?
Yeah, so basically, see, health insurance company ki side se bhi you will have to think, right? It's a business. Health insurance is a business. If they are starting to look at covering everybody and all people with diseases, everybody, if they look at everybody same, right, and they don't do any kind of evaluation, then the insurance company will stop in 1 year only. Because the reason is that if an insurance company is covering a disease, right, and if it starts covering from day zero, then nobody will buy health insurance when they are healthy. Everybody will buy health insurance only when they have a disease. And if everybody buys health insurance only when there are disease, then only two things can happen. Everybody will make a claim. If everybody makes a claim, then the insurance company will go down. Or the second thing will happen, the insurance company will charge such kind of premiums that nobody will be able to afford it. Why an insurance company looks at profiles separately, people with disease and not disease separately, is because so that they can evaluate customers separately and understand whether they should cover them or not, whether they should charge them different premium or not, so that they can manage the portfolio of customers well, right? So if the customer portfolio is not managed well, an insurance company is giving a cover for multiple number of years, right? In fact, covering a person for lifetime, like we have discussed earlier. So when a customer is being covered for lifetime, an insurance company is having a very large responsibility of the group of people that are taking a cover. अगर मैं एक इंश्योरेंस कंपनी हूँ और मैं 10 लोगों को कवर कर रहा हूँ और 10 लोग सारे के सारे बीमारी है, and I am giving a cover to them and saying that तुम ले लो सब 5-5 लाख रुपए का claim, everybody is going to claim from that. What is the premium? The premium will be 5 lakhs, right? Okay. Because I will have to give 5 lakhs, I will have to take 5 lakhs also. The whole idea of health insurance is that they want a lot of young, healthy people in the population so that they can pay they can basically give claims to the people who are sick. Health insurance nothing but young, healthy people paying for sick and old people, right? So if that thing does not work as a homogeneous kind group of people and everybody is just people with health issues, it is not going to cover. That's why a health insurance company keeps waiting periods, right? कि basically आप जब भी आओगे तो आपको immediately cover नहीं मिलेगा. You will have to wait for some time, then you will get a cover.
Okay, तो waiting period आपने बोला, तो how do these insurers look at PEDs? PED जो उनकी भाषा में बोलते हैं, the health condition. If I have a disease, how will a health insurance company look at me? What all things will health insurance company see before giving me the policy.
Right. So if you have a disease, basically a health insurance company will understand the intensity of the disease, the amount of the level of disease that you have. Like someone who has sugar, तो sugar कितना भी हो सकता है. किसी को बहुत high sugar हो सकता है, किसी को maintained है sugar but they have high sugar. Someone has cholesterol, how much sugar they have, how much cholesterol they have. Someone is overweight, how much overweight is that person, right? So they will first understand the intensity of the problem before they evaluate your risk, and then they will basically decide to give you a cover. Now there are three things that can happen when an insurance company understands your basically health profile, right? They will ask you a lot of questions and then they will create a basically understanding of what kind of risk they are going to cover, because पैसे उनको देने हैं. आप 15,000 20,000 रुपये दोगे, उसको 5 लाख रुपए का कवर देना है. So when a person has to only pay 20,000 and get 5 lakhs, that person who's giving 5 lakhs has a bigger responsibility, right? So that person will basically, which is the insurance company, will basically do three things. One of the three things. One is that they could basically say that there is a waiting period, which is basically saying that आपको मैं immediate cover नहीं दूंगा for basically any kind of disease. I will not give you an immediate cover. I will give you a cover after a couple of years. So you pay premiums, you stay invested with me for 3-4 years, and then I will cover you after that. I will not cover you from same time. So for example, if I have diabetes, diabetes will not be covered from day 0. It will be covered after 3 years, right? That is the first thing. Second is, I could, if the intensity is a little higher, or if it is happening at a young age, then the insurance company could say, I will put a waiting period. I will also basically charge you extra premium, right? For example, someone has is very, very highly obese, right? Meaning is overweight by a margin, right? And also has diabetes. In that kind of a situation, an insurance company is saying that, and he is young also, an insurance company is saying that this is high risk, then they will probably say waiting period भी है. उसके साथ साथ they could also basically say that I will ask for additional premium, right? Okay. These are good scenarios. The third scenario is the worst scenario, where an insurance company is saying I'm not giving you a cover, right? When a person has a major disease, like someone who has gone through a paralysis attack, someone who has basically has a cancer survivor, they may not even get a policy, right? So insurance companies have three things that they could do. They could either put a waiting period. Second, they could basically put a waiting period and a loading, or the third one, which is basically they may say that I will not give you a cover.
So got the 3 points. So to what extent, let's say I have a disease, to what extent do I have to declare that particular disease? मुझे 10 साल पहले था, क्या मैं उसको डिक्लेयर करूँ? या मुझे क्या सर्दी खांसी हो गई, मुझे कफ हो गया आज से, like 3 days before I had cough, should I declare that also? To what extent should I declare these health conditions?
Right. So this is a very common question that I get. So it's good that you asked this question. Like someone who's 30-year-old, he may have a history of having a tonsil operation at age of 5. Someone would have 10 years में jaundice हुआ था, 20th year में basically appendix का operation हुआ था, कुछ भी हो सकता है. So how much do you inform, right, to the customer? Should inform the insurance company, right? So typically an insurance company has very open-ended questions in their proposal form. जो एक form होता है, इसमें आपको answer करना होता है questions. In that proposal form, the insurance company asks very open-ended questions. They will ask you, do you have a medical history of any kind, right? This kind of a question would be there. Have you ever had an accident? These kind of questions. I'm not saying exact verbatim questions, but they will ask you such open-ended questions. Okay. So your job is to answer the questions to as much possibility as you can, meaning in as much detail as you can. Even if whatever you know, you should inform that. Even if something like a jaundice happened around 15 years ago, it's worthwhile informing that, because currently there is no regulation by which an insurance company cannot ask that question or basically cannot evaluate a customer based on that question. It's better that, like I have said earlier, that err at the side of caution and basically inform everything that you know is the best thing to do. इसमें basically ऐसा है कि if you miss something, like if you have missed something, that is something which would have multiple criteria, which I will explain probably later. But the idea is for you, when you are filling a proposal form, you should basically try to see that as much as you know and you can remember, you should try to inform everything.
Straight away question आ रहा है कि how will the insurer find out that I have that particular PD 10 years ago? Like right. If I do not remember आज से 14 years पहले what I had, how will the insurer find out?
Right. So basically what will happen in this thing is basically that insurance companies would not come to know about this, like you rightly said, because an insurance company does not have, there is no public health record from which they can find it out. But what will happen is that, let's say if there is a claim that happens and it is related to that same, let's say a hospitalization happens, and that hospitalization is related to something which has happened previously, let's say 20 years ago. And when let's say someone who's getting hospitalized, their parents are getting him hospitalized or that person hospitalized or their family is getting that person hospitalized. And the person who's getting hospitalized, the doctor asks information about that person to the family, right? And the family has to give information, right? Okay, what are the history that this person has? What are the medical history that this person has? And if there is a medical history that is informed at that time, that doctor will note it down in the documents that they make, right? So they make a complete document about the history of the person when a person is basically getting admitted to the hospital,
Okay.
right? In that paper, if there is anything that is noted down which is not informed at the time of buying the policy, then the insurance company can basically say that you did not inform me, right? Because that is the time when an insurance company can come to know about anything which is basically was existing before buying the policy, but you did not inform. This is in fact the biggest reason why claims get rejected. Like a lot of people don't understand this well. They either don't inform the insurance company, or they are basically people who are just blindly following some salesperson's instructions of just signing at places or just giving an OTP and accepting the proposal form filled by the salesperson. In such kind of situations, it will happen where only at the time of claim the insurance company will come to know, and insurance company will reject the claim, right? It's a shock for both. The insurer is in shock because they didn't come to know about the information. They will just not pay the claim. A bigger shock is for the family, because the family will actually be depending on the claim so that they can pay a hospital bill, but they will not get the claim because something was not informed.
Got it. Like my mom and dad can be the reason my health insurance claim might get rejected.
It's not the mom and dad that can be the reason. Your mom and dad will give the right information to the hospital. You will be the reason why the claim will get rejected because you did not inform and you were lazy when you were buying the proposal form. Your mom and dad will do the right thing by giving all the history to the doctor because they are more worried about taking right care about you.
Yes.
Like I am not mentioning about sugar to the insurance company, or for diabetes I'm not informing the insurance company. But when there is a hospitalization, nobody is going to take the risk of not telling the doctor that this person has diabetes, right? Because the treatment is very different when there is diabetes and there's no diabetes for a doctor, right? Meaning the doctor has to take care of a lot of more things when a person has diabetes. If there is a hospitalization, specifically accident or specific cases, the doctor has to take a lot of care. So not informing the doctor is the right. Informing the doctor is the right thing to do. Informing the insurer is equally the right thing to do.
Got it. So, agar like at the time of you said about the proposal form, we should declare as much as possible, as much as we remember each and everything. We should ask our family members also, like my mom and dad. They will also tell me कि अच्छा बचपन में कुछ हुआ था मेरे को.
Right. Similarly, there is sorry, I'm interrupting you. The reverse also happens. Like when you are buying a policy for your parents, you should not just base your the answers that you give based on your memory.
My memory.
कि मुझे पता है कि मेरे mom को hypertension है. You should actually go through the medical records. You should talk to the family doctor. You should look at the medical file. You should look at the जो दवाई का डब्बा होता है सबके घर में और उसमें कौन से medicines तुम्हारे family members ले रहे हैं और ask that why are you taking this medicine, why are you taking this medicine, and based on that you should fill the proposal form. India में there is a very common thing that if you ask a uncle, 50-year-old, 55-year-old uncle कि uncle आपको कुछ बीमारी है, do you have any disease? He'll say no, I don't have any disease. I am absolutely healthy and fine. Then you ask the question कि uncle are you taking any medicines? Yeah, I take a medicine for sugar, I take a medicine for hypertension, and I also take that pump for asthma. So that's a very common thing, right? I am very, very healthy. I'm just taking these three medicines. Right, so that's a very important insight, specifically in the Indian context. Indian context where basically people are in denial about their own disease, and they feel these are just maintenance things that I'm doing for my health and because I'm aging. They don't consider it as a disease also.
Yes. Very मतलब बहुत relatable है because I meet my mom and dad friends. तो वो भी ऐसे ही है कि अरे मैं तो फिट हूँ. My दादी like she always says अरे मैं तो फिट हूँ, मेरे को तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. But when I see the first aid box तो multiple medicines उनकी चल रही है. तो एक इसमें directly if I say कि I do not remember things, right, like what happened to me 14 years before, एक काम करते हैं ना, I'll ask the insurer, you do the medical test, take all the whatever test you want to do, take that and guess it from there or take the info from there कि these all medical conditions I had. So is that possible? Like because I might not remember. So I'll do the full body checkup, each and every whatever test the insurer will tell me, I'll do that and I will give the information to them.
Right. Yes, this is quite a common thing that people think that is possible, but it's not possible. I'll tell you why. Because a head-to-toe medical test of all parts of the body and to understand all diseases will probably cost more than the health insurance premium, right? So if you're going to do like an MRI of your entire body and you and like a scan of your entire body, the cost of that would be very high. Who's going to pay for that cost, right? And it will not cover all history about your medical conditions also. Like someone who has probably had, let's say, a disease 20 years ago or 15 years ago, right, is a signal for an insurance company about your lifestyle, right, as much as it is a signal about your health history, right? But if it is completely cured, it may not show in the reports when you are doing a test. How will that happen, right? The insurance companies need to do a medical test to basically come to know about a certain amount of things that you don't know, and insurance companies still need to get information from you, because there are so many things that may not get captured in a medical test, or it is not affordable for an insurance company to do all those tests, because you are not going to pay premium, they will pay premium.
They will pay.
Right?
Okay.
So that
okay.
way.
And is, let's say ki the other way around, are all insurers like they make it mandatory for us to get the health insurance this medical test done?
No, there are a lot of insurance companies at a younger age where they will not do a medical test. They may actually not do a medical test because then they say that you tell us what you have as a disease and we will just go by that.
And what do you recommend ki should that person get the medical test done and submit the report?
It's not a bad practice, but it is not going to take care of everything. See, a medical test, again, how many body parts, how can you do a head-to-toe test? You will not be able to do it again yourself. You can do a vitals test, which is like a full, like an annual checkup kind of a thing, which is like a test that is available for someone who's, let's say, 40 plus or 50 plus. It's good. It's a good idea where you can do a test so that you have some documentation कि भाई मैंने तो ये सब test किए थे when I'm buying the policy, and I am going to refer to this to give you information. But it's not required actually. See, the insurance company only wants you to give information that you're aware of.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The regulation is also very clear that if you are not aware of it and you are able to, basically you did not know about it and that is not informed, that you cannot inform. So insurance regulation is very clear that you are supposed to inform about things that you knew when you had to buy a policy. If there is a disease that you had but you did not know, right, about it when buying the policy, that you cannot be held against, right? And that's very clearly mentioned in the regulation that insurance company is supposed to take information from a customer and call it pre-ED only, pre-existing disease only, based on the information that the customer has.
So Mahavir, let's I want you to elaborate more on the proposal form. Ki what is the right way to fill the proposal form? Can you elaborate more on that?
Right. So basically proposal form बहुत open-ended होता है. So it's important that you read each question very carefully, right? And then basically ensure that you answer it at the as much comprehensive way you can answer. That's why we also always recommend that you use an expert basically in all our forums and everywhere we say, because the expert is someone who has seen claims and claims getting rejected because of this exactly the proposal form is not filled right. So they will actually help you how to answer those questions comprehensively, right? But answering your question, basically it's important that you give all information, right? If you're basically going to take a policy for someone else, then you ask those people the question, and like I said, unka medical box dekho, unke files dekho, talk to the family doctor and do that, right? So that is how you do it. And after this proposal form is filled, it goes to the insurance company. Insurance company will evaluate it. Based on that, they'll either put a waiting period and loading, or they may even reject it. Right? If it gets rejected, you can try another insurance company. Right? So that is how it works.
And what if अच्छा तो दो questions मेरे दिमाग में आ रहे हैं straight away. पहला, what if I missed telling the insurer? I forgot. I don't know. I forgot in the proposal form. I didn't tell. What will happen?
So as soon as you come to know about that, you should inform the insurance company that you have missed it. Right?
Okay.
And there are two things that could happen there again. That as soon as they get this new information, again they will either put loading, they'll put waiting period, or they can again now say कि भाई ये तो मैं देता ही नहीं हूँ, so they can reject the policy. That's a better thing to do rather than being that imaginary world कि आपका claim pay होने वाला है. You will come to know immediately that if the insurance company is rejecting the policy, तो claim तो नहीं pay करने वाला है. So it's better that you basically don't keep it with yourself. Inform the insurance company as soon as you come to know about it.
Also at the same time, I'll save on premiums also.
You'll save on premiums also. Exactly.
Pay करा 5 साल बाद I claim, but I didn't get the claim. I paid premium for 5 years.
Exactly. And after 5 years, the disease, if it gets even worse, you'll not get anything. Right now, if it's better, then you can at least try out other options.
Got it. And what if, like, I don't know how the crazy question might be, but आ सकता है. I'm talking to you like customer. ये आ सकता है. I'm wearing your hat. What if कि I filled the proposal form, it went to the insurer, and before the policy is issued, I got some disease.
Wow. Very, very rare question. I've never got this question, but yeah, though insurance companies are very smart also, right? They have seen this scenario. So what they do is that all the contracts, insurance contracts, in the proposal form also has this mentioned, but nobody reads, so not many people know about this, is that they say that after this filling this proposal form and before issuance of the policy, if anything happens, then you're supposed to inform the insurance company even about that. So let's say मैंने policy एक Saturday को ले ली policy, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी कुछ तो रीजन की वजह से पॉलिसी इज डिलेड, द पॉलिसी नॉट इशूड टिल नाउ, एंड 5-6 दिन हो गए फॉर सम रीजन, मेडिकल टेस्ट हो रहा है या सम रीजन द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी इज करंटली सिस्टम इशूज आर देयर एंड देयर इज एन एक्सीडेंट दैट इज हैपेंड और देयर इज अ न्यू डिजीज दैट इज somehow cropped up, right, for some reason. तो वो आपको इन्फॉर्म करना पड़ेगा. That's your responsibility to inform till the policy is issued and before the proposal form, after the proposal form. Between that period, if any disease has come, you are supposed to inform the insurance company.
We have covered before policy. If I forgot, then I need to tell the insurer. After the proposal form filled, the proposal form went to the insurer, and before the policy is issued, if something happens, I should tell the insurer. If policy is issued, and now I recollect कि अरे यार मैंने वो चीज़ नहीं बताई. I forgot to tell something happened to me 12 years back. And it was an honest mistake. I forgot it, right? I don't know. Then at that time, what should I do?
See, you are supposed to inform. So you are supposed to inform about everything. Whenever you come to know, you are supposed to inform, right? The implication I'll tell you that suppose if something you come to know at the time of claim only, right? This is a scenario which you're mentioning where I realized that I forgot to inform something small at the time of, after the policies got issued. But let's say at the time of claim, the insurance company comes to know about something very small. We took an example, right? कि 10-12 साल पहले कुछ हुआ था and I forgot to inform. Someone had some disease at the time of when he was very small, like tonsil हुआ था बचपन में, and basically some disease, there's some treatment that happened, even a hospitalization had happened, and I forgot about it. I have not informed about it. So there is a law or there is a regulation which is called the moratorium period, right? Which is very important to understand. Is that the IRDA regulations say that अगर आप 5 साल का policy आपका complete हो गया है, if 5 years have been completed in your policy and you have forgotten about some very, very small thing, and you missed something very small, and if you completed 5 years, then the insurance company cannot reject the claim for that small technical reason. It has to be something which is very serious that you've forgotten to inform. Then only the insurance company can reject your claim. So for example, I have missed informing, when I'm buying the policy, I missed informing about I am a smoker. That an insurance company is not going to accept, right? But let's say 20 years ago, I had a tonsil operation, which I just gave as an example, or jaundice. And I missed informing that. That anyways would have not had any impact on my policy getting issued or not getting issued. Then an insurance company cannot use that reason कि अरे तुमने ये नहीं बताया तो अभी मैं तुम्हारा claim, I will reject your claim, right? That cannot happen. So what IRDA has done is that for innocent mistakes or things that have got missed and you completed 5 years, so 5 साल you've waited for 5 years, you've paid premiums for 5 years, and if there is something small that you've missed, then insurance company cannot reject a claim. And insurance company can only reject a claim where they can basically prove that you have made a fraud, like you wanted willingly to not inform this so that your policy gets issued. Only then they can do it. So that is the nuance that is there, that after a certain period of time, that right is there in your hand, that insurance company cannot reject claims for flimsy reasons, right? It is also very important because कभी किसी, ये तो हम 5 साल की बात कर रहे हैं, किसी ने 25-50 साल प्रीमियम, 25-30 साल प्रीमियम पे कर रहे हैं. My father is paying premium, he must be 30, now he is 78 or something. So he's paying premium for like 45 years, right? अभी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी बोलेगी अरे तुमने तो ये 15 साल पहले का नहीं बताया, तो that is wrong ना. मतलब that's why this is a protective clause for customers कि insurance companies cannot go to any extent to reject a claim. They will have to basically prove that the customer wanted to defraud the insurance company, and only then rejections can happen.
Is there any definition to this small disease or big disease?
The definition is fraud, right?
अच्छा,
Insurance company has to prove fraud. Fraud is clearly defined in law. Fraud का मतलब है कि willingly basically committing a crime or willingly committing some act or willingly omitting an act, right? कि आप कुछ छुपा रहे हो या आप कुछ कर रहे हो, you're doing something or you're not doing something so that you gain, right? That is fraud, right? And that basically means that if you're doing gain in these cases, your policy is getting issued and you have a cover. So if you're willingly doing something or you're willingly omitting something by which so that you get your policy, that an insurance company can say ये fraud है.
Okay.
But मैंने willingly नहीं किया है and it's an innocent mistake and it can be clearly कोई भी पता चल सकता है कि यार ये तो बहुत छोटी चीज़ है. That automatically will come to know, मतलब that automatically should, it is something which is, there is a certain amount of judgment that comes into picture. It can go to litigation if the insurance company is taking a call on a very small thing. But it's made clear by IIDA regulations that if it is cannot be proven as a fraud, then it cannot be rejected by an insurance company.
Okay, so महावीर एक और चीज़ होती है कि when like this happened with the local agent which I had, he was not that experienced. He just started with the insurance business, and he was in my locality itself. And he came, he met my mom and dad. So at that time, I remember like I was a small kid, like 8 or 9 years old. He said कि तुम्हें ना इतना पैसा बच जाएगा, ये चीज़ मत करो. कि certain things he himself told कि don't tell these particular things to the insurer, they will never get to know. These practice, what do you say on this? Because the agent he was not an expert, though I'll not say he was an expert, but the agent himself is saying कि भाई
no, so this is right, and there are salesmen in the world and then there are advisors in the world, and that's why we basically clearly at Beshak bifurcate or classify people like that. A salesman's job is basically कि policy कैसे भी issue हो जाए and he gets his commission, or his targets are achieved. An advisor is basically someone who's claim first or customer first, that claim पे होना चाहिए. So you find an advisor who is basically claim first, right? So in this specific case basically it's very sad that, meaning people are being, this is in my view basically something which a customer, an agent is doing to basically make money, but it's not going to serve the purpose for whoever is buying the policy. So obviously, meaning customers should be very aware, and if this is a signal. If any agent or any person who is in the market and telling you that mat batao, run away. Meaning just don't buy a policy from such person, because somewhere or the other you are going to have an issue at the time of claim. There's no point buying a policy if claims are not getting paid.
Okay. Well, that person, like, he has sold to like my entire locality. I can say that.
Yeah. So this happens, right? People who are typically people who know people. A lot of people buy a policy not from an expert. They buy a policy from someone they know, thinking that I know him, so he'll not defraud me. But actually buying from an expert. So it's like buying from filing your taxes from a non-qualified CA because he's a family friend, and then having a claim that comes after 10 years from the IT से आपको एक letter आता है कि आपने तो इतनी सारी गलतियाँ की, अभी पे करो और इतना interest पे करो. How do you want to do that? Or do you want to go to someone whom you don't know, but he's a proper CA, and file your taxes properly so that you have peace of mind? It's similar. I have a friend who can get me a policy, and he will also benefit because उसको तो commission मिलेगा, तो मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. But if he is not able to understand health insurance, if he is not able to understand products, he is not able to understand claims, then you should not buy a policy from there, because it's a very specialized business. It's not something, it's not even a business. It's actually a practice. Right?
So to all the customers who are watching, if you want to get the professional guidance, professional consultation, do check out experts on beshak.org. These experts have up to 20 years of experience, and they will provide you proper, transparent, unbiased guidance on these things. Do check out beshak.org. So Mahavir, you told about waiting period, right? Abhi mere ko policy mil gaya, I got the policy, right? But there are certain waiting periods for certain diseases. So first of all, let's talk about does all diseases have waiting period, or like there are specific things, specific diseases for which waiting period is there?
Any pre-existing disease, if an insurance company is covering, right? If anybody is buying a policy and they have recorded that these are the diseases that I have, then there will be a waiting period for those diseases, and those will be basically 3 years, right? Today, the waiting period that an insurance company can put is maximum of 3 years, right? As per today's regulation, that way.
Got it. So can I reduce that waiting period? like I'll say to the insurance company, मतलब insurance company है ना, I'll pay the higher premium. Can I reduce that?
Yes. So there are insurance companies that now allow you to take a waiver of the waiting period. So you can reduce the waiting period from 3 years to 1 year कर सकते हो आप, 2 साल कर सकते हो आप. So basically insurance companies are taking more premium and they're allowing reduction of waiting period for certain diseases, not for all diseases.
So 1 year, Mahavir, you are saying कि minimum होगा. Are there any policies which exist in the market which has zero waiting period?
Right. So before that, meaning one thing that I missed to say, that there could be insurance companies that could have a 3-year waiting period, right, for all existing diseases, but there could be certain diseases that they could cover, right, where they would say that we will not cover it forever, right? Permanent exclusion बोला जाता है उसको. That I missed to inform. That so basically what happens is that insurance companies, let's say if some disease is a very serious disease and insurance company is covering it, then an insurance company also has the right to say that this disease is something which is very serious. I don't want to cover this disease. So I will basically put a permanent exclusion for this disease. Like for example, cancer, right? So I am covering you. You are a cancer survivor. I will cover you. But for cancer, I will not cover you forever. For all other diseases that you have, I will cover you after 3 years. That way.
Okay.
So there are two types of exclusions in pre-existing disease. One is that permanent exclusion. The second is a 3-year exclusion. That way.
I don't know. I'm not a health expert, but if I have cancer, right? I would catch or I might get other diseases because of that. Will those be covered?
So if it is directly linked to cancer, then an insurance company, if it is clearly provable that is linked to cancer, obviously it will not be covered.
It will not be covered.
But if it is like first of all, for a person who is a cancer survivor, it's very difficult to get insurance. If an insurance company is going to cover it, they will clearly say that directly, indirectly, anything to do with this specific disease, we will not cover, right? Then you are basically getting covered for everything else, right? If clearly it is, if an insurance company can prove that this is directly linked to the disease of cancer, then obviously it will not get paid. The idea when someone has cancer and otherwise is not getting a policy, for that person, if you look at it from that mindset, he's not getting a policy or she's not getting a policy. So they are happy to basically take that permanent exclusion and get a policy for the remaining diseases. Otherwise, तो मिलता भी नहीं था. So for example, insurance company is only going to do binary. They will say, I will not give you a policy, or I will give you a policy with cancer as a permanent exclusion.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you have two choices. You either not be with a cover or be with a cover which does not cover you cancer but other diseases. So people are obviously going to take the second choice.
So Mahavir, you told 3 things for these PEDs, health condition. मैं तो disease बोलूँगा कि for diseases either there will be waiting period or there will be waiting period or loading or there will be rejection.
Yeah. So actually this is the 4th condition. Actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the 4th thing, which is basically that there could be a permanent exclusion also. I think we missed it. So let's correct ourselves. The first one is waiting period. Second one is basically loading. Third one is permanent exclusion for the disease, and 4th is a rejection.
Okay. So we got the 4 points. But you didn't cover my question which I asked. Are there any products in the market which covers these diseases from day 0?
Yeah, so there are certain diseases which insurance companies now have started covering from day 0 also, and basically, obviously, these there are add-ons available with the policy. So you're basically taking a policy. You will basically either get a waiver of premium, so you pay a base premium.
Okay.
Then either you take a waiver of premium, which is basically reducing your basically not your sum insured, your waiting period. Third is basically there are add-ons which say that 0-day cover. So you get a cover for those specific diseases.
Okay.
From 0 day. From day 0, you get a cover for that. Obviously, the premium, you have to pay an add-on premium for that. And there are certain listed diseases which they will cover. Not all diseases will be covered from day 0. Every insurance company has their own list. And for that, those diseases, you can get a 0-day cover.
So Mahavir, at the time of renewal, are there any steps for a person who has a disease should take? And anything which he or she should take?
So at the time of renewal, if you are just renewing your policy and you're not upgrading your policy, you're not taking any new rider, then typically there is nothing that you need to do. You are already informed anything that has basically happened before buying the policy, right? At the time of renewal, if basically you're upgrading your cover, right, or you're buying a new rider, then the insurance company may ask you a question that has there any disease that has happened between you buying the policy and the renewal. And if that has happened, then the insurance company may take a call to give you that rider or not, or give you an upgrade or not, right? You need to basically ensure that you inform. Some insurance companies ask this as a question, right? They ask this as a question saying that, Acha, do you have any disease, new disease that has happened? If that question is asked, obviously you should answer that question very clearly and meaning give a comprehensive answer to that question. Having said that, it does not impact your cover. Your existing cover won't get impacted if you inform about a disease that has happened after buying the policy.
Got it. And what about, let's say ki I want to switch my policy, which I think we say portable. We are porting the policy. At the time of portability, what steps or what measures should I take?
Right. So portability ke time pe two things are very important. One is that if you are porting the policy, you have an existing policy. In the existing policy, before that policy when you bought, those diseases you should inform the insurance company, right? Before buying the first policy. So let's call the original policy, right? Let's call it the original policy. The original policy lene ke pehle, whatever disease that happened, that you need to inform the insurance company, the new insurance company. And all the diseases that have happened after you bought the new policy and now that you're porting, also you need to inform the insurance company, right? All the diseases that have happened before the original policy will be covered because that waiting period carry forward will happen. So if 2 years have happened, then 1 year will happen in the new company. And if 3 years have happened, then you will get a full cover in the new company. Right? That is the whole portability, the whole concept of portability.
Yes.
If there is a new disease that has happened before, after you bought the policy and you're porting in the new policy, in that period, that can be considered as a new disease by the insurance company, and then could be a waiting period for that by the new insurance company. So the insurance company could say that ye to naya disease hai for me, I will basically cover it. I will not cover it from day zero. I will have a waiting period for that disease.
So Mahavir, one question to you about claim. During claim, if claim happens and the insurer company says ki this health condition you have not mentioned while filling the proposal form, and I remember that I do not have that particular condition, but the insurer rejected my claim.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Yeah, so this happens, and this has happened. There are a lot of cases that happen in such kind of a situation where actually the customer did not inform about a disease that they didn't know about. The insurance company is saying that you knew about it, right? Ki nahi, ab tha. So in this situation, the onus will lie with the insurance company to prove that you knew about it. It cannot be lying with the customer. The customer cannot prove something that they didn't know. How can a customer prove anything that they didn't know?
Logical.
So only the insurance company can prove that the customer knew about it through investigation that they have done. They have talked to the family doctor, or they have basically got papers which had that information. So an insurance company technically cannot do this, where they can just say that no, you knew about it without giving any documentary proof or evidence about it. So they'll have to prove it, right? There have been cases where an insurance company just mentions that you have not declared it and the claim has been rejected. In such kind of situations, sadly, you will have to fight it out with the insurance company. You'll have to go through the grievance process or go take the insurance company to either court or to ombudsman to fight out the case, right? And that's where, again, like I keep saying this and it may sound like a plug, but it's true that having someone on your side makes a very big difference.
Yes.
Having an expert on your side makes a difference.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like as a customer, how will I fight? I don't know. I don't even know the proposal form which I'm filling.
Correct.
So health terms and conditions. How will I fight the case again?
So it's becoming more and more specialized as we go forward because the products are getting complex, the process is getting complex, claims are getting complex, rejections are getting complex, and that's why you need someone who's like a professional who understands this world and also can communicate with the insurance company in their language, knows whom to talk to, how to solve a problem, instead of you trying to become that expert yourself.
And one more, like this might be a nuanced question, might not be for certain people, but like doctor only writes, right? Ki, these all health condition this customer has.
Yeah.
And let's say ki there's a mistake from the doctor's end. Then what will happen? Like
this is like a very, very real case that has happened with one of my family members, and this person actually had a disease, heart condition about only 1 year ago, and by mistake the insurance the doctor mentioned it as 2-3 years ago, and the person had bought the policy 2 years ago. And right now I'm basically trying to document it and write to the insurance company saying that the doctor made a mistake, don't penalize the senior citizen, right? But this is true, this happens. So it's very important that you are also, it's actually very unfair for the customer to having to do so many things, but it's very important still. See, we live in an imperfect world, so it's something that you have to take care of it, is that you ensure that the doctor has informed at least whatever PED related, existing diseases related information is informed right in the document that the doctor is only filling. I know it's, like I said, it's a very unfair thing to expect from the family member of a patient or to expect from a policy holder also. But we need to be vigilant. Wherever you are able to catch hold of something that the doctor has also made a mistake, it's better to inform, because it will get messy. It will get solved. Like this case I'm talking about, it will get solved. But I know it's not going to get solved by one email. It's going to require like 2-3 emails, a lot of follow-ups, also trying to reach the right person in the insurance company to reason it out. ये सब करना पड़ेगा. And again, if without an expert, it's going to be very, very messy. Even more messy than with an expert. Like I am in this business for almost 20 years and I know it's still going to be messy. And I know everybody in the industry, so many people in the industry, not everybody, but I know reasonably good people in the industry. And I know I will be able to solve it, but still I know it's going to take time. Imagine someone who has no thing, and people are wanting to buy DIY D2C policies directly from insurance companies. I feel it's expecting too much from yourself.
Yes. So towards the end, what would you like to tell a person who has the pre-existing condition or a health condition or a disease and has a policy, doesn't have a policy? Let's say they are going ahead for purchasing a policy. What all things that person should keep in mind? What steps he or she should follow for purchasing the right health insurance product?
Right. So first is ensure that you understand all the questions that the insurance company is asking and try to give the most comprehensive answer you can give. If there is no space in the proposal form, take another additional paper and write in that, and ensure that you have an acknowledgement for that page, or write an email to the insurance company on their email address saying that I'm buying a policy and these are the additional things that I wanted to inform, which you don't have space in your proposal form to inform, but I am informing. So be very diligent about it. And if it is about your family member also, whatever steps I said, medicine box, doctor, medical file, do all that, right? That is step number 1. If at any point in time you come to know about something that you've missed, like I said, ensure that you inform it at that time. Don't just continue the policy. A lot of agents also do this, where they tell the customer that, sir, anyways the policy is going to cover you after 3 years. So मत inform करो ना, 3 साल के बाद तो ऐसे भी cover हो जाने वाला है, तो don't inform. Absolutely a wrong thing to do. Even after 10 years, an insurance company will, if they come to know intentionally something has been not informed, they will reject the claim. And they are ready. They have a battery of lawyers. Right? They will reject the claim and they saying, okay, fight a case. Right? You are going to fight a case with an institution by you doing a wrong thing. Forget it. Right? No claim is going to get paid.
Yes.
Right? There is another thing that people say, sir, moratorium hai. Like I said, 5 years के बाद तो claim pay होने वाला है, तो मत inform करो. And there are some agents who just want to earn commissions or achieve their target. They will do that. Don't do that. Right? Be very, very honest while buying a policy, and ensure that you have either filled the proposal form yourself or at least read the proposal form exactly before the proposal form is hitting the insurance company servers if you're buying it online, or you're basically filling it if it's a physical form, and you are signing it before that. Ensure there's no blank space. Ensure that you have filled the proposal form right. मतलब exam देने जैसा है, पूरा proper तरीके से करना है. You just need to be very clear. Don't leave any blank spaces also. Like there are ticks and no's and yeses, right? Ensure that whatever is no is tick no.
Tick no.
If it is yes, tick yes. If it is a blank space, strike it out and put anything that not applicable, right? There are so many people who are agents, whom I will call salesmen, who will fill it after you have signed it, saying that no disease, right? Or they will tick where you have not ticked, saying no, right? Don't leave anything to the judgment of someone who's a salesman who's just running for commissions. And the best thing to do actually is to ensure that before you finalize the product, you find a good expert, right? So that while you have a good policy, you also have an expert who is ensuring that you follow the right processes while buying the policy, ensuring that he is educating you. A good expert will scare you, right? वो तुमको डराएगा. Like a good CA will scare you about income tax. A good health insurance expert will scare you about claims, and they will tell you ये नहीं भरोगे तो देखो claim नहीं मिलेगा. ये नहीं भरोगे तो you will not get claim. That expert is a good expert. Buy from an expert, and don't feel that you will save some money by not buying from an expert. So these are things that my suggestions are there. One is being diligent. Ensure that proposal form is filled by you. And the best hack is to have an expert, because honestly, it's very difficult to be able to like wrap your head around the entire process, the product, understand all dimensions, and also know everybody in the industry when their problems come. So,
Yes.
वैसा है.
very logical. The last point, so I totally agree. I'll give a छोटा सा example. 2 years back, I was filing my ITR, and there was one CA. She had around 11-12 years of experience, and while filing the ITR, I was like, यार HRA डाल देना. You keep 30,000. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? And she was like, no. You go ahead with any CA. I'll not do it.
Yeah.
Because you will suffer. I know that.
Yes.
You might not suffer. मतलब, there might be chances, but I will not do it.
Right.
And she has made me cautious. Like, she had multiple meetings with me to
Right.
make sure that I do not do this mistake.
Yes.
So I totally agree with your expert wala part.
Yeah, because see, a lot of people feel that अरे ये तो मेरा टैक्स बचा रही है, like there is a ये तो मेरा टैक्स बढ़ा रही है. This person is asking me to pay more tax, so this is not good CA. A good CA, lot of people feel is a CA that ensures that मेरे को कोई टैक्स ही नहीं भरना पड़े. But that person is going to basically, that person is paying a price for later on getting income tax inquiries and then having to pay a heavy price. So short term versus long term है.
Yes.
Short term you will save on some fees. Short term you will save on some discounts. Long term you will not get a claim, or you will have income tax inquiries. You need to make a choice.
Very logical, very logical. So I got enough understanding that if a person has a health condition, how they should go ahead and buy the right health insurance product. So thank you, Mahavir. I got enough understanding, like if I in future, God forbids it doesn't happen, but if any person who has a health condition, if they want to buy the right health insurance product, they will definitely, I recommend watching this podcast, and they will get the confidence to choose the right health insurance product. So all the people out there, if you have any questions, do write it in the comments. And if you have gained some knowledge, some information through this podcast, do like the podcast, do share it with people who needs to hear this. And that's it. Stay in short, stay informed. Thank you.